This is a salad of things that I had in the refrigerator that I wanted to use up, like I had mentioned, the Musco salad. We make quite a bit of salads during the week, and like I mentioned, I just made a big pot of soup. So I have the carrots that were left over, some celery in there, cucumbers, I have some grilled artichoke hearts, and some of these beautiful California olives. These are so gorgeous. They are a local olive from company here in California, and they are pitted like a pitted Kalamata olive, but they are sweet instead of really salty, and they don't have that salty, briny, harsh forward bitterness. They're just very mild and sweet and beautiful. So they go really well in the salad. Just be careful when you're using olives with pits in it that you let your guests know that you have pits in your olives. And generally I'll take them out ahead of time. And then walnuts. Our family has some walnut trees, and so we are blessed to be able to use those quite often. They make a nice accompaniment to a salad, give that textural crunch. I have some chickpeas and also some shavings of zucchini that I had in the refrigerator, and some yellow squash as well. Avocado, and then here's our slices off the half an orange that I used to make the vinaigrette. So again, we're just going to do a very light dressing of the vinaigrette onto the salad. It doesn't take much. The flavor is just so fresh and fruity, and again, with those herbs, you really don't need much. I'm going to add a protein at this point, so I have some chicken that I put in the oven. If you want to make a really beautiful chicken stock, you can roast the chicken ahead of time, which is what I did yesterday for the soup. So this is just the chicken breast off of that chicken, and I just cut it up, and we're just going to add that in there as a protein for the salad. Super simple. You can leave the chicken off, obviously, if you wanted to. This is a great thing to do for leftovers after Thanksgiving. You're going to have so many vegetables left over depending on what you make, but you can use all the scraps from your vegetables that you use to do for Thanksgiving, and then put them in the salad. You could even use your green beans in here from your casserole if you're making that. And then there are always going to be bread left over. So what I did, and my favorite breadcrumbs to make, are you just take the fresh bread that you had left over, French bread, ciabatta, baguette, whatever you're using. You could even do cornbread. And I just cut it into cubes and put it into a saute pan with a little bit of olive oil, a little bit of butter. Take a couple cloves of garlic, just give it a good whack on the table, on the counter rather. Throw it in the pan, and then let that brown up. The bread got nice and crispy and crunchy. And then right before it starts getting dark, I turn the heat off, and I add just a couple little pieces of Asiago or any kind of cheese that you have. It melts in there with the bread, and it makes such a nice texture on the breadcrumb. And then of course I finish it with just some fresh parsley and rosemary and a little bit of sage. And of course you've got the chicken in this one, but if you're doing what's that little bee after Thanksgiving, you can use any herbs that are going to complement, especially in the vinaigrette. I've got the bees are coming because they're hungry too. So we're just going to add a couple breadcrumbs onto the salad, and that makes a nice little crunchy element with the walnuts on there. And I will give you the recipe for these breadcrumbs because they are to die for. And every time I make them, this is another reason why I don't like to buy breadcrumbs, because they're so easy to make. And look, you've got that. There's a clove of garlic right there.